Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to share a horrific story with you that happened in Baltimore County, Maryland on the morning of March 28th, 2021. Police say they found 5 people dead and 1 injured at 3 separate crime scenes that have left them with many questions. When Sylvester Day Sr. left for church on Sunday morning, he told WBAL News that he was directed by police to take a different route than he normally did, which would have taken him right past the Royal Farms store in Essex. He said he didn't know why at the time. He didn't know that one of the reasons was because his son, 43-year-old Sylvester Day Jr., had been shot in the store and was lying dead on the floor. He found out later that police had gone to his house to tell him. Sylvester Day Jr. had just called to let his family know that he was making a quick stop at the store on his way home. They had no idea that would be the last time they'd ever hear from him, because they had no idea that a madman was going to go on a shooting spree that morning, and that their son would become one of his victims. But according to police reports, Day was approaching the cash register with his purchases when the shooter entered the store, and he was immediately shot and killed. Then, a store employee, 22-year-old Joshua Robinson, was shot in the leg. But they weren't the shooter's only victims at Royal Farms that morning. According to police, when he arrived at the store that morning, he pulled up behind a woman's car, blocking her in, and shot and killed her through her window as she sat alone in her car. Her name was Alpha Smith. She was 62 years old, and news reports say she was known to her friends as Alfie. Police said after he shot 3 people, killing 2 at the store, the shooter returned to his apartment, set it on fire, went outside, and shot and killed himself. After police were notified of the apartment fire, they found the deceased man outside and identified him as the shooter. After finding him outside of his burning apartment, they went to his parents' home, his next of kin, to notify them of his death. But when they arrived at their home, they found both of his parents, 58-year-old Douglas Green and his wife, 62-year-old Olivia Green, shot to death in their garage. Detectives say they believe that the shooter killed his parents before driving to Royal Farms and shooting his other 3 victims. They say they have no motive for the shooting at this time, and they do not yet know why he targeted the people at the Royal Farms store. They say they don't know why he chose to shoot his victims before taking his own life, and they have more questions than they do answers at this point. They say the shooter had no prior criminal record, but a woman claiming to be his sister posted on Facebook that he suffered from mental health problems for years, and their relationship was strained as a result. According to the news, her post read, "I will miss you so much, Mom, Dad, and Josh. Yesterday afternoon, I received the news from a friend in Maryland that the unthinkable had occurred. Something so horrific that my mind wouldn't believe it. But something I knew deep down in my heart was very much a possibility." Josh struggled with his mental health for many years, and our relationship was strained and distant due to this. What transpired yesterday was unthinkable, violent, and senseless. For reasons I will never understand, Josh committed 4 murders, 2 of which were random, injured 1 more person, set an apartment on fire, and then took his own life. My heart is with the victims' families. The grief so far has been nearly unbearable. My heart is with you, everyone affected, as we pick up the pieces to this nightmare. I pray for continued healing peace and closure to the victims' families. WJZ News acquired a video shot on a customer's cell phone after he entered the Royal Farms store to shop, and he found the victims. It is unclear if he called the police to the scene or if the police had already been notified at that point. But that had to have been a completely shocking scene to walk into. 4 more unexplained deaths, and 1 victim in stable condition. 2 parents, a man who made a quick stop at a store on his way home, a woman who stopped for her daily soda on her way to work, and a store employee just trying to make a living. Another senseless tragedy that has affected so many innocent lives. Just as I was preparing to record this video, I came across a beautiful tribute to Alfie, posted on Facebook by her cousin, and I'd like to end my video with it. It read, "When my grandfather was alive, for my entire life, he called me Alpha. Alpha was my big cousin. We were about 15 years apart, but for some reason, whenever he saw me, he saw her." In reflection, that was one of the greatest compliments he could have ever given me. My cousin was the happiest, sweetest, most selfless human being you would ever meet. And this morning, on her way to work, she was murdered. This coward took her away from her 3 children, a son, a special needs daughter who was her best friend, and a young adopted daughter. Please keep my family in prayer as we are just finding out this tragic news. Alfie, you deserved so much better than this, but I guess God couldn't wait any longer. Give my brother and the rest of our family a hug for me. I think I can probably safely say that we all just felt that. Thank you all for watching. Please stay safe out there, and I'll see you on my next video.